night of the holiest day in the Hebrew calendar, which is Yom Kippur, that night is named Kol Nidrei, after the opening prayer or statement that we make that night. What is this statement of Kol Nidrei like? It says that we hereby deny the validity of any promise we made in the year that is ending, and even the future promises as well. Some sages really objected against this recitation of Kol Nidrei. What do you mean you're not going to fulfill what you're going to promise? Maybe Kol Nidrei addresses another fact, that our tradition says, better don't promise, because if you promise, maybe you won't be able to keep it, so the best thing is not to promise it. Something that has to do with the expulsion of the Jews from Spain, the Marranos, which were the Jews that were forced to convert to Christianity, to Catholicism. Some of them remained Jews deep down, and they used to get together on this holiest day to start the holy day by saying the promises that we made under duress are really not valid because we want to remain Jews like we were before we were forced to adopt a different religion. However good that sounds, but Kol Nidrei is really a statement that precedes the time of the Marranos. It's way before. So maybe Kol Nidrei is trying to teach us something else. Each generation has to interpret it according to its own situation. Maybe for the Marranos, indeed, when they said Kol Nidrei, this is what they meant. We are not going to keep the promises that we made under duress because we were forced to do it. We want to remain Jews. And it was very difficult in those times because some were exiled, some were even executed, burnt alive when they found out that they had not kept their promise to remain as Jews as they were. I remember that I was in the Caribbean and I photographed several synagogues that are very old. And some of the synagogues had sand on the floor. Why did they have sand on the floor? Well, they said because they are descendants of the Marranos from Spain, who used to get together sometimes for prayer, Jewish prayer, in somebody's home and put sand on the floor to mitigate the sound of their steps so they shouldn't be discovered. So this is why they do it. In other words, that is a very deep feeling that those Jews had about the fact that they were forced into becoming Christians, Catholics, something that they really didn't want to do. But what can it mean for us? Maybe for us it means something different. Kol Nidrei tells us, be careful with words. Words are very important. According to Onkelos, which is the official translation into Aramaic of the Torah, says when God created the first man, he did something into his nostrils. He gave him nishmat chayim. He blew into his nostrils the ability of what? The ability, he say, ruach memalela, the ability to speak. This maybe is one of the basic differences between man and animal. Man can express himself. Animals can also express themselves, but in a very primitive way. We can construct ideas. We can communicate thoughts, sentiments. Not only that, words not only describe, they create new ideas as well. Words are very important. With some kind of recommendation by word, you can maybe redo somebody's life completely, give him a new chance in life. And sometimes by saying something negative about another person, you can destroy his life. I can't get over the murder of Charlie Kirk of a few weeks ago. I never met the man. I didn't even know about him. I'm not too sure anymore. But I was really taken aback. This man was just speaking. He was trying to convince people about ideas, about what he felt very deeply. And he had this interchange of ideas. What did this assassin think? Maybe his assassin thought, I cannot refute the ideas that this Charlie Kirk is expressing. I can't present arguments that are valid against him, but I know he's wrong. I don't agree with him. So in order to silence him, he killed him because he couldn't do it with words. We have to remember that the pen is mightier than the sword. Words are very important. According to our tradition, when you read the Bible, you see, Vayomer Elokim Yehi Or. How did light come into the world? God said, let there be light. According to the Mishnah, which is what our rabbis taught, with 10 such enunciation, God created the universe. Words are very, very powerful. You can do so many things with words. Maybe this is what Kol Nidre is telling us. Be careful with your words, because the word is the instrument that is so powerful that God gave you, that really differentiates you from any other creation, because of the ideas you can formulate, the ideas you can communicate, the inventions that you create. Everything is a function of the fact that you have the ability to elaborate words. So be careful, Kol Nidre, on the day that is the holiest in the Jewish calendar. Be careful with that very powerful instrument God gave you, which is the word.